Break this all down is Yuma, Arizona Mayor Douglas Nicholls to talk about this. So I wanted to ask you about Trump's Remain in Mexico policy. Last week, Tom Homan spoke with NewsNation's Anna Koyman right here. Here's what he had to say about helping vulnerable asylum seekers. Let's listen.
For the people who want to come to this border and claim asylum, you have a right to do that. But we're going to have the Remain in Mexico program in place. You're going to wait in Mexico for that asylum hearing. And when we did that under the Trump administration, after about 2 months, they stopped coming because they knew they had a fraudulent asylum claim. They weren't willing to spend all their money, give it to the criminal cartels just to wait in Mexico.
So what's your reaction to this, and how do you think it would impact a policy in your city?
Well, definitely. This is something that was very effective in the first Trump administration. And so I think it'll be just as effective in this one. It will take a little while to get set up, given the relationship we have to have with Mexico to make sure that we're partnered on how this works. But these fraudulent asylum claims are the majority of what's coming across. And so to be able to control that and discourage it is definitely part of an effective border control system.
You know, during a visit to the southern border, California Governor Gavin Newsom slammed Trump's plans to impose 25% tariffs on goods from Mexico and Canada. Let's take a listen here.
Proposing it on two partners, Canada and Mexico, that is disproportionately impacts you, impacts the cost of oil and petroleum. You're upset about costs of oil? It directly impacts the cost of oil. Impacts the cost of medical drugs, impacts the cost of food.
Yeah, there with the background of the wall in back of him. How do you think these tariff policies could impact people from your city? What do you make of Newsom's stance there?
Well, I mean, I'm not an economist. I'm not going to be able to tell you exactly how I think they work. But under the first administration, Trump led the continent on the renegotiation of NAFTA and came up with the USMCA. And so those are the ground rules. Those are how we're going to interact. I understand that there's discussions on reopening it to refine it and make it stronger, but we have a framework to have those discussions. So I don't really see this as dramatic as far as something out of the blue, because it's going to have to follow that framework as we move forward.
I wanted to turn to sanctuary cities now, because Boston City Council voted unanimously to keep their sanctuary city status to protect undocumented migrants from Trump's immigration policies. And that's along with Denver, Colorado, and Illinois opposing the president-elect's mass deportation plans. So what kind of message does this send? Do you agree with it? What do you think?
Well, I don't agree with it. You know, my city, we've talked about it, and this is far from anything that we're prepared to do. I think at some level, the cities need to make sure if they're going to make that kind of stand, they need to take the whole stand, and not just we're not going to help law enforcement, but we're also going to provide for people that are coming into the country and make sure they're not a burden to the American taxpayers, that they're housed there and they don't have to be moved on to other cities. I think you can't just take a stand on one element. You got to take it, the whole package together. And you know, sanctuary city status is interesting, but on law enforcement side, I think one of the first things the president's going to do is refund ICE, which has been defunded over the last 4 years. Mm-hmm. And with that, local government, law enforcement is not going to be as critical because they'll have sufficient resources in and of themselves.
All right, we'll see how this plays out. Yuma, Arizona Mayor Douglas Nicholls doing the interview standing, which I appreciate. I noticed that. Thank you so much for being here today on your Saturday. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Have a great day. Thanks.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.